Welcome back, guys. We're back in the city of Corinth, so let's do some quests and let's talk to some NPCs. Now, one thing that kind of bothers me is that people don't treat me as a citizen, despite the fact that I have decent clothes, but what can you do?
Can you help me get into the upper quarter?
What? What are you going to do there?
I've got an important message.
Well, well. Have you tried getting past the guards?
Oh man, forget it.
That's typical of those beggars. I don't know how important your message is, and it's none of my business. But even if you told them that a ship full of orcs just anchored in the harbor, they'd send you away. Because they have their orders.
So can you help me get into the upper quarter?
It seems to be really important to you. The question is, how important is it to you?
What are you getting at?
I can help you. After all, I'm one of the most influential people here. But it'll cost you.
How exactly can you help me?
Quite simple. I'll use my influence to see to it that one of the master craftsmen here takes you on as an apprentice. As such, you'll practically be a citizen of the city and can enter the upper quarter. Besides which, you'll earn something while you're at it.
Where could I sign on as an apprentice then?
Basically, with any master here on the main street. That would be Harrod the Smith, Bospa the Bowmaker, Thorben the Carpenter, or Constantino the Alchemist. One of them is bound to take you on. But it's important that the other masters agree. That's always been the custom here in Corinth.
How do I get the approval of the other masters?
You just have to convince them. Go and talk to them. But if more than one of them is against you, you don't stand a chance, so behave yourself.
Why don't you take me on as an apprentice?
I would, but the other masters wouldn't agree. I just recently took on another apprentice.
Is there another way to get into the upper quarter?
Perhaps. If I think of anything, I'll let you know.
Yeah, okay. What are you asking for your
What
help?
are you asking for your help?
100 gold pieces.
That's a whole damn lot.
That's a whole damn lot.
Take it easy. It isn't your gold I have in mind.
But
In principle, it's my gold. Gritta, the carpenter's niece, hasn't paid what she owes me in ages. But the little brat is constantly running around in new clothes. That means she has the money. I'd like to beat it out of her. But Master Thorben, the carpenter, is also a very influential man. Get me the money and I'll help you.
where can I find this Gritta?
Like I said, she's the carpenter's niece. His house is down the street, the last house on the right before the smithy.
Help me sign on as an apprentice with one of the masters.
One thing at a time. First fulfill your part of the deal and bring me the gold.
Okay. So, we talked to Regis, Matteo, let's talk... No, this is Regis.
Hey, you're new in town, huh?
Yes, and what about you?
I've come from the mainland, and now I'm hanging around here. I'm almost out of gold, so all I can do now is join the militia, I guess. But I don't want to do that. I won't be slaughtered by those orcs on the king's behalf.
What can you tell me about the militia?
One of the paladins has taken command.
That's what I
A certain
said.
Lord Andre. He's trying to mobilize half the city in case the orcs attack. But you need to be a citizen of the town in order to be admitted. As far as I know, if you're not a citizen, you can train anyway. But you won't be officially admitted.
You don't say.
What else can you tell me about Lord Andre?
He has taken over the position of judge as well. If you cause any trouble in this
He
town,
says things like that.
you're gonna have to answer to him. I was once in a brawl with a citizen. He went crying to Lord Andre and ratted me out. That little matter cost me 50 gold pieces. I was lucky that it happened at night, or others would have witnessed it. The more people complain about you in this town, the higher your penalty will be.
Who did you fight with?
With a fellow named Valentino. He often hangs out in the tavern near the temple. I'm not usually a violent person, but that guy needed his face rearranged in the worst way.
Has anything exciting happened?
You could say that. They robbed Bosper the Bowmaker. What a brazen thing to do, I tell you. The fellow just ambled into the shop in broad daylight and grabbed himself a bow. And Bosper right after him, hollering, "Stop right there, you rogue!" But the thief was too fast.
That's not what I heard.
Has anything exciting happened?
Oh well, all's quiet. I suppose that when the orcs come, we can't fail to notice.
Witnessed it myself.
Can't believe that.
Yeah, okay. Now this is Bosper the Bowmaker right here.
He had better shut up.
Welcome to my shop, stranger. I am Bosper. I craft bows and trade in furs. What brings you to Corinus?
Nobody ever asked for my opinion.
I need to get into the upper quarter.
Where the paladins are? Forget it. You need to be a respected citizen here, or at least hold a decent job. As a stranger, you stand no chance of getting in.
So I noticed. I'm looking for work.
I could use a new apprentice. The last one just gave up his job 2 days ago. Do you know anything about hunting then?
Well,
I could teach you how to skin animals. I'll pay you well for every skin you bring me.
what if I want to sign on with one of the other masters?
Boulder Dash. Harrod and Matteo already have apprentices. Constantino the Alchemist is a loner, and he hasn't taken an apprentice in years. And as for Thorben, everyone knows he's dead broke. He probably couldn't even pay you. I, on the other hand, am in urgent need of an apprentice, and I pay well too. But no matter where you want to sign on, you need the approval of all other masters from the lower part of town.
That's terrible.
Why did your apprentice give up his job?
All he said was that it had become too dangerous out there. If you're really interested, then you can ask him yourself. His name is Bartok. He's probably hanging out near Corrigan's Tavern. Go through the underpass from the smithy, then you're headed straight for it.
Will I get your approval to sign up with a different master?
All right, you shall have my approval, but on one condition. Work for me, at least for a short time. That way, you can find out for yourself whether you like my craft or not.
That's not what my
And who knows? Maybe you'll end up liking it, and you'll stay with me. If you're good enough to sign on with me, you're also good enough for all others here.
I'm in enough trouble as it is.
What do you want me to do for you?
I will teach you how to skin an animal, and you will bring me, let's say, half a dozen wolf skins. Then I'll know that you have learned your trade. If it doesn't take you forever, and if the skins are in acceptable condition, I will take you on if you like. Or, you can start with one of the other masters, if that's what you really want.
That was some pretty good voice acting. I mean, he really seems so broken-hearted if you choose another master.
I want to start as your apprentice.
Before I take you on, I need to know, of course, whether you're any good at all.
Enough trouble as it is.
Okay, we have the learning point.
Teach me how to skin animals.
Right. Listen, it's quite easy, really. You take a sharp blade and cut open the animal's belly. Then make a few small incisions on the inside of the legs, and you can peel off the skin. Bring me the wolf skins and we shall see.
So why won't they listen to me?
So before I ask him that somebody stole from him. Okay. This is Pablo. And by the way, I changed the rain effects because I was slightly annoyed by the by that shimmering rain effect. So when Pablo approaches you.
Hey, you, wait. You look familiar to me.
What do you want?
I've seen your face before somewhere, right? Here, we found this picture on some bandits we picked up a few days ago. It looks a lot like you. Apparently, those guys were looking for you.
So you actually have to be sarcastic here. So please, you can choose this option. It's the ideal option.
Gee, I'd never have thought of that myself.
Very funny. What did those guys want from you?
Ask them yourself. You've got them safely locked up, haven't you?
No, they're dead.
I guess we'll never know then.
If you're in some kind of trouble, go talk to Lord Andre. Maybe he can help you. You'll find him in the barracks.
How's the situation?
At the moment, it's quiet. Only the bandits outside the city are causing us problems.
What do you know about the bandits?
They've all come from that blasted mining colony. But there are several splinter groups. Some are holed up in the mountains, and others have joined up with Ona, the landowner. But it's the bandits outside of town who cause the most problems. They're the reason that none of the merchants venture beyond the city gates now.
Where did the bandits who had my wanted poster come from?
We picked them up near the landowner's place. But they didn't look like Onar's people. I think they're part of a smaller group which is holed up in the mountains near Onar's farm. But if you intend to go there, let me warn you. Those cutthroats make short work of everyone.
I'll remember that.
Okay. So, one thing I really want to check. Is there any way to enable... I might be wrong, but I think there was some fog effect when it was raining in Gothic, because it's way too clear. Now, I don't mind this rain, to be honest. I don't mind it at all. One person I really want to talk to is Bosper's former apprentice. So if I re-enable rain effects... Okay, this is how it looks like. Kinda... I'm on... yeah. Not really happy how it looks like, to be honest. At least it's not raining indoors, but this shimmering... What do you guys think? Should we keep it or not?
So great was the wrath of Beliar that he came
This
across
basically
the
looks like a summer
land
rain.
and chose
Okay,
the
so let's go
beast.
talk to Bartok and see what he has to say about Bosper. And he's right here.
Hey, you! How's it going?
You're not from around here, are you? Never mind. Neither am I.
Where did you hang around before?
In the woods, hunting scavengers and wolves, together with some hunters. But I gave it up. These are dangerous times. There's a lot of riffraff running around out there.
Yeah, the entire penal colony of Corinus is out there now. Whoops, my bad.
Where can I find the other hunters?
We had our camp outside near the tavern halfway to Onar's farm. But I don't know whether there's anyone left in the camp now. There used to be 2 of us here in town until a few days ago. My friend Trokar is an excellent hunter.
Bosper said you used to work for him.
Yes, I did, but he was only interested in his blasted hides. I told him how dangerous it's gotten out there. He didn't really listen to me. Well, anyway, he paid well. I can't complain about that.
Can you tell me anything else about him?
Bosper had one of his bows stolen recently in broad daylight. Some guy just waltzed into his store, took a bow, and left. The thieves are getting more and more brazen.
Can you teach me something about hunting?
I can teach you how to sneak properly and how to handle a bow.
So, where is your friend Trokar now?
Well, it's a curious story. Only a few days ago, we were both standing at the bar in Corrigan's tavern, discussing the hunt. Don't ask me what happened next. I had had a few by then. I vaguely remember Trokar saying that he was going out to get a few swamp weed reefers. He never came back.
So he went for some smokes and you never saw him, huh?
Where does one get swamp weed reefers?
Somewhere down at the harbor as far as I know.
Didn't you go looking for him?
No, but I reported it to the militia. But they haven't been able to find him yet. I hope he didn't get attacked by a wolf, or worse. I'm afraid that I'll stumble over his body someday when I'm out hunting. I don't think I could bear that.
that voice acting, Jesus. Okay, now we can go back to Bosper. The way his voice cracked, I don't think I could bear that. Now that's a beautiful vista. I really love how they did the design in Gothic too. The city looks so busy, you know. Brian and Hera are working, Forbin is working. People are, you know, talking and shopping around. The city actually looks alive.
My opinion.
Now, Bosper, I heard that somebody stole from you.
I've heard that someone stole from you.
Who told you that?
The first I've heard.
Probably Bartok, huh? Didn't he have anything better to tell you? Oh, well. Let me tell you, if I get hold of this bastard, he can say his prayers. I left the shop for only a moment. When I came back, I could only just see him leave, with my bow on his shoulder. I called the guards right away, but the lowlife ran towards the harbor, and they lost him there. I lit a bonfire under their asses then, and they searched the entire harbor district. But they didn't find a thing. Those bumbling lackeys. I bet my bow is still in town somewhere. I informed the guards on both city gates, and they haven't seen anyone leave with my bow. When I get my hands on that bastard.
Okay. And if you ask
Show
him
me your wares.
to trade, he has exactly what you would expect. Ring of Dexterity, a leather belt, short bow, willow bow, hunting bow. So he's basically the equivalent of Cavalorn from Gothic 1. Now, we're gonna try to do something extremely difficult. But first, let's talk to all the other masters. So let's take them one at a time. So, quick save the game.
Ah, fresh face. You're not from Corinus, are you? This is not a good time for travelers. Bandits everywhere, no work, and now the farmers have risen up too. What winds have blown you here?
I'm looking for work.
Do you know anything about carpentry?
The only thing I can make out of wood is a fire.
And what about locks?
Well...
I'm sorry, but I can't use you if you know nothing about my trade. And I have no money to pay for an apprentice.
What if I want to start an apprenticeship with one of the other masters here?
All right, I shall give you my approval. But you had better get yourself the blessing of the gods first. Say, are you a man of faith?
Always say yes to this one.
Yes, a most humble servant, Master Thorben.
Then go to Vatras, the priest of Adanos, and have him give you his blessing. He will tell you where you can find a priest of Innos. You should get his blessing too. Once you have received the blessing of the gods, I shall vote for you.
How about your approval, Master?
Has Vatras given you his blessing?
Not yet.
Then I don't know why you're asking me again. You know my terms.
So, you know a lot about locks.
What good is a fine chest without a fine lock? I make my own locks. That way, I can at least be sure I haven't built my chest that sturdy for nothing. A poorly made lock is easy to break, and there are plenty of thieves about in Corinus, especially lately.
Can you teach me how to pick locks?
I don't know whether you can be trusted or not. For all I know, you might be one of those layabouts who only come to town to empty the chests of honest people. I'm not going to teach you anything before I'm convinced that you're an honest fellow.
Can you sell me some lockpicks?
Well, all right, but they won't be of any use to you as long as you don't know how they work.
Okay.
Have you had an apprentice before?
Yes, and not too long ago.
And what happened?
His name is Elvrich. He's my nephew. I was quite pleased with him, actually, but one day he simply didn't show up for work.
Where is Elvrich now?
How would I know? He kept hanging around that filthy brothel by the harbor. I wouldn't be surprised if he's still warming the bed of some whore down there.
How long has it been since you saw him?
I guess it must be about 2 weeks.
Have you reported that to the militia?
Of course I have. They were supposed to catch him and see to it that the lazy bones does his work. But I already regret that. He can do whatever he wants. Sooner or later he'll realize he'll get nowhere in Corinus without a decent job.
Is that so? What do you know about the Paladins?
Not much. They arrived by ship 2 weeks ago from the mainland. Since then, they've withdrawn to the upper end of town. Nobody here really knows exactly why they have come. Many are afraid of an attack by the orcs. I suppose, however, that they are here to quell the farmers' rebellion.
I've come about Gritta.
My niece? What's your business with her? This isn't about money, is it?
She owes 100 gold pieces to the merchant Mateo.
Tell me this isn't true. Ever since that little piece of work moved in with me, I've had nothing but trouble. She's in debt with practically every single merchant in town. I had to borrow 200 gold pieces from Lamar, the moneylender, just to settle her debts. And now this. Gritta should be in the house. Go ahead, ask her. But I tell you this, she doesn't have a single gold piece.
We shall see. Do you know anything about the Peasants' Rebellion?
Rumor has it that Onar, the landowner, has hired mercenaries to keep the king's troops from breathing down his neck. He was probably tired of having to throw his harvest along with his livestock at paladins and militia. All we notice of this in town is that the food prices keep rising. Onar's farm lies far to the east of here. We wouldn't know if there's any fighting going on there. And if you want to know more, ask the merchants in the marketplace. They get around the island more than I do.
So, 3 things I want to note. The first one, there is a reason why I chose that specific dialogue option with Pablo. If you choose the other one, he'll get suspicious at you and he'll figure out that you're an escaped convict. So that's the main reason. Second, I am wandering on these rooftops because there are a few things you can pick up on them. Not exceptional things, but you know, some knickknacks, lockpicks, stuff like that. Okay, so that was the... Let's see if we can make this jump.
That's not what my husband thinks.
That was nice. Okay, so the second thing. There is an inflation happening in the harbor city of Corinus, and this is the harbor city. Very nicely done for a port city. Not exceptionally huge, like what you see is what you get, but I would say it's pretty well done. I mean, for a game that basically came out in 18 months, like in game development time, that's light speed, guys. That is literally light speed, and also voice acted, and even when it came out, it had very few bugs. I mean, like, imagine that when Elder Scrolls Oblivion came out, it had like 2,000 bugs. Gothic 2 had like 20. Like, there were a couple of serious bugs, and the rest were so irrelevant that you sometimes didn't even notice them. Now, because there is an inflation happening in Corinus, everything you want to sell to merchants, you will sell at 15% of their price. So if you have a sword, and that sword is 1,000 gold pieces, you're gonna sell it for 150 gold pieces. Yep, that's not a lot of money at all, I know. And those prices are not gonna change, and food prices especially are insane. Like, piece of ham is like 50 gold pieces. Now Edda right here is a very sweet old lady.
What are you cooking there?
Oh, fish soup. It's not all that tasty, but at least it's hot. You can try a plateful if you like.
What can you tell me about the city?
Most citizens in this town are afraid of thieves. Therefore, it's not a good idea to enter strange houses. But if you're looking for a place to stay overnight, you're welcome to sleep in my hut. There's an extra bed that you can have.
Aren't you afraid of thieves?
The only valuable thing that I ever owned has already been taken. Oh, someone stole my statue of Enos.
Could you cook me some soup?
I cook for everybody. For you too, if you want. All you need to do is bring me a fish.
Could you cook me some soup?
Nothing could be simpler. Here, have a plate.
Could you cook me some soup?
No, not today. Come back tomorrow.
Now, I really cannot tell if the voice actress did an amazing job here, or if the voice actress really didn't want to be in the studio that day. Like, the way she talks with clicking her tongue left and right every few words. And FYI, some NPCs like Forban here will have a voice actor change because they added new quests in the Night of the Raven expansion, the one we're playing right now. So again, as I said a couple of episodes ago, some actors will they didn't really manage to get the audio balance right for the expansion. Now this is Vatras, so before we talk to him, I want to quickly show you guys the letter Vatras has.
The trees and animals
so we have a sealed letter.
Washed away, and a deep sadness.
You can pause the video right here to read it. Okay, so it's basically a letter from Saturus.
Brothers, never again.
It's a letter from Saturus to Mr. Vatras. We know who Saturus is from Gothic 1. Now, we're gonna have an interesting interaction with Vatras.
Hey, you!
Adanas be with you.
Who are you?
I am Vatras, a servant of Adanas, the guardian of the divine and earthly equilibrium. What can I do for you?
Tell me about the Ring of Water.
And why would I do that?
Cavalorn sent me to you.
And what did he tell you?
He said you're in dire need of more good people.
Aha. So, you want to join us, son?
Tell me about the Ring of Water.
And why would I do that?
I want to join the Ring of Water.
You do? Well, that means you have already fulfilled the first requirement.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, there must be someone among us who trusts you. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know about it. But I know nothing about you at all.
What do you want to know?
Well, you could tell me where you come from and why you have come to the city.
I carry an important message for the leader of the Paladins.
What is this message?
Now, you can actually choose either dialogue options, but choose this one.
Terrible things are bound to happen soon.
Terrible things, hmm? How do you know this?
You can be as vague as possible, like, I heard rumors somewhere.
No, I heard rumors somewhere.
Aha! And that is why you have made this journey. Who are you, really?
An adventurer.
I'm an adventurer from down south.
Good. Let us summarize. You are an adventurer from down south, who heard rumors that terrible things are going to happen, and you have come to report this to the Paladins. I think there's something you're not telling me. If you're worried I might pass on what you tell me, then let me reassure you. I have sworn to keep all secrets I am entrusted with to myself.
And what about all the people here?
They only understand half of what I preach to them, so don't fret. Let's start over at the beginning. What's that message?
Okay, and now you can be honest with him, but I love how he calls you on your bullshit.
A large army is gathering as we talk, led by dragons and determined to conquer the country.
Dragons? You speak of beings which until now have only been mentioned in legends. How do you know this?
Zardas, the magician, told me. He sent me to warn the Paladins.
The necromancer. So he lives, and he sent you. Who are you really?
I'm a former convict from the penal colony of Corinus.
Good. Let us summarize. You are a former prisoner who has been told by Zardas, the necromancer, that dragons have come to conquer the country, and you have come to report this to the Paladins. That all sounds rather fantastic, but I cannot perceive that you are lying to me. Therefore, I must assume that your motives are honorable. I want to give you a chance to join the Ring of Water.
Here, I've got a letter for you.
For me? Indeed. This is an important message you're bringing me. I wonder how you got hold of this letter.
I got it from Cavalorn, the hunter.
Cavalorn? Where is he?
He told me to tell you he couldn't make it and is headed for the meeting point, whatever he meant by that.
I see that you have gained Cavalorn's trust. That speaks in your favor.
Okay.
What must I do in order to join the ring?
Know that you take on great responsibility by joining the ring. I do not let just anyone join who comes to us and asks. If you want to join the ring, you will have to prove that you act like one of us.
And that means...
Before we let a young man join our ranks, he must have done a great deed for the ring. Only then can I begin to consider letting you help preserve the balance of forces on this island.
I have vanquished the Sleeper. Isn't that a great enough deed?
My ears hear many a tale these days, including the story about the banning of the beast called the Sleeper. I have not heard that this was achieved by a single man, although your eyes tell me that you are convinced you did this. That confuses me slightly, but I cannot be sure that my senses might not deceive me sometimes.
I have freed many people. The barrier is gone.
Even if you can really claim responsibility for that, the great event in the Valley of Mines has not only set free the water mages and other upright citizens. All the criminals of the entire country are roaming Khorinis these days, harassing the population. The bandits have already taken over large areas of land outside the city. It has become all but impossible to leave the town and return unharmed.
So what would be an appropriate deed that might convince you?
Khorinis is facing a great enigma these days. The number of people missing from the town seems to increase almost daily. If you can explain to me what happened to them, you shall have your place within the Ring of Water. However...
Yes?
You should take your message to the Paladins first. I consider it a matter of utmost importance. Talk to Lord Hagen.
But Lord Hagen is not going to receive me.
Yes, he will, no doubt about it, provided you become a member of a powerful community first. The Ring has far-reaching connections. We shall assist you in conveying your message as soon as possible. You should talk about this to Laris, whom I trust. He will help you.
What community should I join?
There are only 3 communities that have enough influence. These are the City Militia, the Monastery of the Fire Magicians, and the troop of mercenaries on the landowner's farm. The choice is yours, son. Laris can certainly assist you with this difficult decision. Talk to him about it.
I shall do that.
Wait, if you see Laris, give him this ornament and tell him that it needs to be returned. He'll know what to do with it.
Okay, so I think that this is a perfect moment to end the video right here. It's nighttime, half an hour has passed as well. So I want to wish you guys a wonderful day, and I'm gonna see you in the next episode when we do more quests in the city of Khorinis. And this is a beautiful, beautiful night sky, isn't it? And a very bright star ahead of us. Surely a sign of things to come, right? It's not like things are gonna get any worse, right? Right, guys? Okay, so have a great day, guys, and if it's gonna be one of those bad days, I wish you the strength and wisdom to kick that bad day's ass where it belongs, because sometimes that's just enough. Like and subscribe and all that jazz, and if you really wanna support the channel, you can always buy me a coffee so we can share a few stories together. The link is in the video description.
Really, how interesting.
And even
I don't believe this is gonna change.
And remember, guys, the most important story in life is your own. Cheers, guys.